today we are going to talk about section 5.5, and it's called using customary units of measurement. Okay, so before we've done using metric units of measurement, and that was just where we had to move the decimal point because we're multiplying and dividing by factors of 10, multiples of 10. So this one is what we use. We use customary units in the United States. So it's things like inch, foot, yard, mile. So first off, we're going to talk about length. So when we ask you, how tall are you? You'd say 5 foot, 3 inches, or whatever it is. Okay, so we have inches. We have a foot, a yard, and a mile. Okay, so the conversion that you need to know is that 12 inches equals 1 foot, 3 feet equals 1 yard, and 5,280 feet equals 1 mile. Okay, we'll talk about how to do this later, but first we just need to know what our conversions are. So make sure you write this into your notebook. It's very important that you do, because then you won't have to keep saying, well, what was the conversion again? What was that conversion? Okay, so this is very important to get into your notebook. Another thing that we're going to talk about is capacity. That is, if I have a bottle of water, how much water can I put in it? So this is in fluid ounce. This is in cup, pint, quart, and gallon. Okay, so our conversions for this is 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup, 1 pint, or PT, equals 2 cups, 1 quart equals 2 pints, and 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. Okay, so here's our customary units for length and capacity. Now let's talk about weight. Okay, so the other kind we have is weight. And the different kinds of units we use for weight are ounce. Like when a baby is born, there are 9 pounds, 2 ounces. Then we have pound. Then we have a ton. Okay, 1 pound, we abbreviate pound LB. So this is a 1, the next one is an L. LB equals 16 ounces. 1 ton, we abbreviate with capital T, equals 2,000 pounds, or LBs. Okay, that's all we've got there. So in your book, it's going to ask you to tell which unit of measurement is best, what is the best unit of measure for each? Oops. Well, which unit of measurement is best for each? We'll leave it at that. I kind of wrote it down, but you still know what I mean, right? For each. Okay, so what we have to do here is if I say, what is the best unit of measurement for the weight of a truck? You would say, well, weight. So I know I'm going to have to use my weight units of measurement. So it's either an ounce, a pound, or a ton, and I know that that would be a ton. We would need more than 2,000 pounds to figure out what the weight of a truck would be. What about the weight of a baby? Well, to find the weight of the baby, I just said, when they're born, they're like 9 pounds, 2 ounces. That'd be a big baby. But so we would want pounds for this one. Pounds. Okay, 3 says the length. That means I need to use mile, Length, sorry, I can't talk in right, of a swimming pool. Okay, so I need to go to my length, which would be inch, foot, yard, mile. Okay, so the length of a swimming pool, I'd say we'd probably want to use yards. Okay, because yards are 3 feet. Well, we'd need a couple yards to make a swimming pool. Well, yards would be my best for that one. Okay, what about, I'll try to squeeze one more in here. The length of a pencil. Okay, length again, we have to use inches, foot, yard, or mile. So I think that one would be inches, because I don't think most pencils are quite a foot. Especially since you can't ever know. I mean, if you sharpen one down pretty good, then it still is only going to be a couple inches. So I'm going with inches for that one. If you wanted to argue me and say it's 1 foot, Mrs. Hamer, I'd maybe buy it. But I'm going to go with inches because pencils can be shortened if they are sharpened. All right, number 5 says, what about the capacity of an eyedropper? Okay, so a little eyedropper is like one of those things they use to feed baby birds. So capacity is talking fluid ounce, a cup, a pint, a quart, or a gallon. This one I'm going with fluid ounce because they really don't hold very much liquid. Those little baby eyedroppers definitely do not hold very much, so I'm going fluid ounce. Number 6 says capacity of a fuel tank. Well, I know when I fill up my gas, I go gallons of gas, and it'll tell me 10 gallons of gas, 20 gallons of gas. So I'm going to go with capacity as gallons. G-A-L. Gal means gallons. Okay, so that's all you have to think about for those ones, is figure which one would you think it is, which one would fit best. Now a new idea. Using dimensional analysis to convert is what this little title is called. Using dimensional analysis to convert. Okay, so that's a big fancy way to say, this is the way I taught you how to do it last year. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have to say, okay, I'm going to start off with 20 ounces over 1, so we don't get mixed up, and multiply that. Let's say, oh, I didn't tell you what the directions were. Come on, Mrs. Hamer. Okay, so convert 20 ounces into pounds. Okay, so I have to get into pounds. Well, I'm going to put ounces on the bottom. I'm going to put pounds on the top. Because remember, I want my ounces to cross off and get rid of them because my answer needs to be left in pounds. All right, so if I look back at my conversion chart to capacity, weight. It tells me that 1 pound equals 16 ounces. So now I just have to figure it out or fill it in where it's supposed to go. So 16 ounces equals 1 pound. I already had my pound, I already had my ounces, so I didn't even have to think where those numbers were supposed to go because I already knew that I wanted pounds to be my answer, so that needs to go on the top. Okay, so now I have 20 pounds divided by 16. I'm going to reduce. I'm going to divide by 4, so I am going to get 5 pounds over 4. Okay, so what I can do for that is I can just do 1 1/4 pound. I kind of like it better in this way as a mixed number, not an improper fraction, because I just think it looks much nicer. Okay, so this is the answer that you should get here. Again, whatever unit you want your answer to be is going to go on the top. So make sure whatever you want your answer to be, it's going to go on the top by whatever you're multiplying by. All right, let's try some more. Number 2 says 14 inches, so convert 14 inches into feet. Okay, so I'm starting with 14 inches. I'm going to multiply that. I want inches on the bottom because I want my answer to be in feet. Whatever you want your answer to be, that's what you put on top. Okay, so I'm going to look for length. I see that 12 inches equals 1 foot. Okay, so my inches cross off because there's one on the top, one on the bottom. So I am left with 14 feet over 12. Now I can divide both of those by 2. Divide by 2, and I would get 7 feet over 6. Okay, so otherwise I'm going to write it the way I like to write it, which is 1 and 1/6 feet. Okay, that's the way you need to write your answer in a mixed number, not an improper fraction. Okay, number 3. 19 pints into quarts. Okay, so 19 pints is going to go on the top. I mean, this is stuff we can do right away. I don't even have to look at any conversions. I know on the bottom I want pints, on the top I want quarts. Okay, I'm going to look back. It says 1 quart equals 2 pints. Okay, got my conversion there. So now I can just multiply out. My pints cross off. So I'm left with 19 quarts over 2. So now if I make it into a mixed number, I know that 2 times 9 is 18, so I can get 9 and 1/2 quarts would be my answer. Let's try some more. 4, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. 4. 3 1/2 pounds into ounces. Okay, so again, I'm going to make this an improper fraction. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 more is 7/2 pounds, times, okay, so now I want ounces on the top because I need that pounds to cross off, pounds on the bottom. Okay, so again, I already know that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. Now let's just multiply it out. My pounds cross off. Okay, we got it. Then I have to do 7 times 16. Okay, let's figure it out. Oops, I kind of like doing it the other way. 16 times 7. 6 and 7 makes 42. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 4 more is 11. So I'm going to get 112 ounces divided by 2 because 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1. Okay, so now I have to do what is 112 divided by 2? Well, that'd be a 5. So that'd be 1 left over 12. So it would be 56 ounces would be my answer. So 3 1/2 pounds is 56 ounces. Okie dokie. Number 5. 3 1/2 yards into feet. Sorry, making this 2 words and it's supposed to be 1. Okay. All right, so again, I'm going to make that. I already did it actually. It's 7 halves yards times yards on the bottom. I want my answer to be in feet, so feet is always going to go in that spot, whatever my answer needs to be. And I know there are 3 feet in 1 yard. Okay, now I'm going to multiply out. Yards cross off. 7 times 3 is 21. Feet is left, divided by 2. Well, 2 goes into 21 10 times, and there's 1/2 left over, so it is 10.5 feet for my answer. Again, you guys, if I'm going too fast, just choose to watch it again. Wait a minute, what did she do there? What's going on? That's the benefit you have doing this video, is that you can go and rewatch things. Whereas if I'm standing in front of you and all the rest of the class is ready to go on, and then you raise your hand and say, I didn't get it. You know, right now you can do it and nobody cares. All right, let's try 2 more, looks like. Okay, number 6 says 3.5 pints into cups. Okay, so I'm going to change that into a fraction, improper fraction, which was 7/2 pints times, I need cups on the top. Ooh, I almost made a mistake there. Cups on the top, pints on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to look back at my trusty chart. 1 pint equals 2 cups. Okay, 7 times 2. Well, here's what I see. Pints cross off. 2's can cross off because there's 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom. So I am left with 7 cups. 7 cups right there, you guys. That would be my answer. Okay, number 7 says, ooh, this is tricky. 2 gallons, 2 quarts into pints. Okay, here's what I am going to do. I'm going to first change them all into quarts. I'm going to change these gallons into quarts, and then I can go from quarts to pints. Okay, so first off, I'm going to start with 2 gallons, and I want my answer to be in quarts, and so at the bottom needs to be gallons. Okay, looking back at my chart, I see 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, so I have to do 2 times 4. So I would get 8 quarts. Okay, now 8 quarts plus 2 quarts would be 10 quarts. All right, I'm going to move up here. So 10 quarts is what I now have to change into pints. Quarts goes on the bottom, pints goes on the top, because this is what I want my answer to be in. My quarts can cross off. Oops, but first I better fill in my answers. All right, 1 quart equals 2 pints. Oh, well, this works out very nicely. 10 times 2 is 20. I'm left with my pints. So 20 pints is my answer. Okay, that's all that I have for you today. Please make sure that you do it this way. I don't want to see chicken scratch multiplying all over the place. This is very neat. I can figure out what you're doing and give you points. Whereas if you don't show me any work, I have to take all the points off because I don't know where you went wrong. If it was a big mistake and you have no idea how to do it, or if it was a little mistake and you just need to remember to multiply correctly. That's why work is so important, because I can give you extra points for showing that. All right, I'll put the quiz here. Thank you for watching.